I'm Betty. Welcome to my kitchen. Eggs Benedict, a classic brunch dish. A tour de force for any home cook, really. But what it comes down to is organization. You can poach your eggs the day before. You can clarify your butter the day before. And the morning that you want to serve these, all you have to do are toast the muffins, cook the bacon, and make the Hollandaise sauce. So this video will teach you exactly how to do that. Unless you have a hen house in your backyard and can go out in the morning and gather an egg directly from under that hen, you're going to have difficulty making poached eggs. The problem being that the egg white starts to deteriorate very quickly. Like most of you, I'm using eggs that I got from the supermarket. They are fresh, I just got them today, but I know that the egg white has already started to thin out. So what we're going to do is strain off that watery part. I'm just going to break it into my strainer here. And I can lift it up and you can see that it's going to drain. There's quite a little bit of very watery liquid left behind. I'll just make sure that I get as much of that off as possible. And then I'm going to transfer it to a small bowl. And I'm going to repeat that with the rest of my eggs. Again, just let all of that liquid drain out. You'll find that some will, of course, drain more than others. All right, I've got my eggs all ready by my pot of gently simmering water. And I've got 2 tablespoons of vinegar that I'm just going to add. I'm using apple cider vinegar. Any white-ish vinegar will do. And now I'm ready to put my eggs in. And what I'm going to do is put them in quite gently, and as I drop them, whoops, that one still wanted to mess around a little bit. But we'll just, let's see. I'll move that one over a little and drop the next one in. Ah, that's more like it. And proceed with the last 2. Just sort of flip the top over as you drop them in. And I'm going to cook these for exactly 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I don't want to overcook them. I want that egg yolk nice and runny at the finish. As you can see, I didn't have to make a whirlpool or do anything fancy or use any other fancy equipment to make these eggs. This is by far the best method I've discovered for poaching beautiful eggs. My 2 minutes and 30 seconds are up. I'm going to remove my beautifully poached eggs. Now, if I were going to use these right away, I would have cooked them for another 20 or 30 seconds, and I would blot them like so, and they would be ready to serve on toast or an English muffin. But I'm going to use these later, so I'm going to drop them into a bath of ice water. And if I'm going to do that, I don't really need to drain them. They're just going to go right in. And you can see these are beautiful eggs that don't require any trimming of any sort. Even our one that had a little wisp of white looks quite good. There we are. just to show you the difference that straining the egg makes, I'm going to put an egg from the exact same batch into this water. I haven't strained this egg, and I think you'll see quite a difference. The white just spreads all over the place. And even if I try to get it to go on top, you can see it's a mess and you're going to lose most of the white. So the little step of straining your egg really gives you a beautiful finished product. I hope you'll give it a try. I have in this 1 quart Pyrex measuring jug half a pound of unsalted butter. And this is my favorite way of melting this butter, is in the microwave. You can do it in a pan, but I like it in this jug because it's going to make it easier for me to separate the butter from the milk solids at the end of the process. I'm just going to cover it with a plate because I don't want it sputtering up on the top of my oven. And I'm going to start it off for about, I'll say 4 minutes, but I'm only going to use it at power level 2. It goes up to 9, obviously 10 would be full power, but I'm going to put it at 2 because I want this to go very slowly, and it's going to take a little while. So here we go for the first 4 minutes. It actually took a total of 8 minutes for this butter to melt in the microwave, and you can see that the milk solids have gathered on the bottom, and the clear layer is the clarified butter. There's some foam on top, and I'm going to spoon that off before I pour this clarified butter into another container. You're just going to do this very gently. You don't want to lose a lot of your butter. It's just a thin layer. The reason for clarifying butter, if you want to fry with it, you'll have noticed if you use just regular butter for frying, you get lots of black spots. And what those black spots are the milk solids that burn. Clarified butter, you can fry at a much higher temperature without burning than just using plain old butter. And it also, of course, is a key ingredient in Hollandaise sauce. Now, I'm going to very carefully pour this into a clean measuring cup, leaving behind as much of the milk solids as I can. And you just do this very slowly. You can do this into a clean, sterilized jar, and it will keep in your refrigerator almost indefinitely. I can't imagine it lasting that long, but it does pretty much keep forever because all of these, they're not impurities, but once you've done this, it does last for a very long time. Now it's just starting to get a few of these little pieces going in there. Now what you can do with this last little bit of butter is put it in the refrigerator, and the pure butter will solidify, and these milk solids will just be a liquid at the bottom. And you can just scrape that last little bit of butter off and add it to your pot of clarified butter. It's a very handy thing to have in your pantry. Give it a shot. So here are our ingredients all ready. I've got half a pound of butter, which I've clarified, 3 large egg yolks, a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice mixed with a tablespoon of water, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt with 1/8 of a teaspoon of white pepper, and I also have an additional tablespoon of water ready. At the end, if the sauce is too thick, I'll have this ready to thin it out. All right, I've combined my egg yolks with the tablespoon of lemon juice and tablespoon of water, and I'm going to start them over a fairly low flame. I'm just going to whisk these and keep whisking until they are light and slightly thickened. And this is going to take a good 4 to 5 minutes. All right, I've been whisking for about 4 minutes, and I think these look light and thick enough to start adding the butter. But to test it, what I'll do is take a clean spoon, dip it in, and if my finger leaves a clear path, I know it's ready to go. And start adding the butter. Now, it's essential to start adding your butter literally a drop or two at a time at the beginning. So here we go. Get that well emulsified. If you go too quickly at this point, your sauce will break and it's done. So I'll just continue doing this until I have about half of my butter incorporated this way, and then we can go a little faster. Now that I've got more than half my butter incorporated, my sauce is doing really well. It's beautifully smooth. I can start adding it in larger amounts. Just got the last of that done. Incidentally, I read recently that clarified butter is actually a very healthy fat. Something good to know if you're going to indulge in Eggs Benedict. And there's the very last drop of butter going into the sauce. Now that that's all done, I'm going to put it back on very low heat and whisk in my salt and pepper. And that texture looks just perfect. If it were too thick, as I said, I had some water handy and I could have thinned it down, but it looks just right. Now you could use an electric beater to do this, and you can also make it in a blender, but you don't get this same beautiful silken texture. It's labor intensive, but to my mind, it's one of the things that really is worth the effort. So now I'm going to set that aside, and it's ready to use on Eggs Benedict. So there you have it, Hollandaise sauce. I've got two English muffins split and toasting in my toaster oven. I've got my eggs that I poached yesterday and held in ice water in the refrigerator, and I'm just going to cover them with some hot, not boiling, but hot water, and they can stay in there for a minute or two. And I've got 4 slices of Canadian bacon. I'm just going to take my trusty soft butter here and put a little butter in my fry pan and cook this for just a minute or two on each side. It's actually all cooked, of course, so it only needs a moment or two. right, my muffins are toasted, so I'll take 2 out, put them on a plate. Ham is nice and hot. Take my egg out. I've got a paper towel ready to just blot off the excess water. And that goes on top of our egg. We don't want. Just give my sauce a whisk. I hope you can see what a beautiful velvety sauce this is. It really is quite lovely. Take some of our sauce, spoon that over these beautiful eggs. What a treat. Eggs Benedict. For additional recipes and information, please visit my website at bettyskitchenfare.com.